Hello, I'm Coercer, and we are watching games from Artifact Cup number 26. We've just finished watching my series against Harambe. In the semifinals, I advanced to the finals, and here my opponent was BBI Iain. Now let's just find the replay. We'll be watching this from Iain's perspective. We played the first map on Kalash Teeth, which is the first map you get to play when you try a skirmish or when you load up a lobby. It's always the default map, so I always like to play on it, even though many people dislike it because it's quite small. There's basically just one path the carrier can follow, and you're basically prone to dying to any kind of early aggression or rushes, to put it simply. Now, Iain is playing as the Coalition. He is spawned on in the south, and I am playing as the Galcian forces up north. So this will be a bit of a classic Coalition versus Galcian matchup. Iain is immediately sending out his base runner to the artifact that's closest to me, so he can just grab it and prevent me from getting a quick artifact capture. I am producing salvagers as fast as I can. Now at this point I'm pretty sure that Iain will AAV rush me, and that is exactly what he's doing. He is researching AAV fabrication. I'm trying to get a bit of an advantage by expanding to my first bulkhead, and in the meantime Iain is just researching AV fabrication and pumping out salvagers in the meantime. His base runner is positioned to take the first artifact, and as soon as his research is completed, he immediately starts building his first AAV. I am long haul mining from my first bulkhead, and just hoping that I'll be able to produce some units to hold his AAV assault. Second AAV coming out for Iain, and he has started to long haul mine from the first bulkhead. I'm being a bit greedy and sending out a couple of salvagers to the second bulkhead. Iain grabs the first artifact and sends his base runner a bit closer to his location, so the AVs can screen against any kind of skimmers coming out from me. I've built a single skimmer to see what's going on, and I believe I just managed. Oh yeah, the scanner spots the incoming AVs, so I pull the skimmer back so I don't lose it immediately. Start moving my carrier to try to intercept the AV and deal some damage to it before it gets to the salvagers. I lose my sand skimmer almost immediately, and the carrier slowly starts to deal damage to the AV. 3 AVs now coming in from Iain. He is happily sitting back, building more salvagers while this is going on, and I'm just trying to survive at this point. Railgun tech has been completed for me, and I'm now building a heavy railgun, which will help quite considerably in fending off these AAVs. The carrier finally takes out one AAV. The second AV is trying to get away. Heavy railgun misses the second shot, and the AV gets away. And now the heavy railgun can fire on the remaining AV that's causing trouble. Iain is now researching fighter and gunship fabrication, which is basically the smart thing to do when you're doing an AV rush. I'm trying to save my 2 salvagers so that they don't get crushed by the AV that retreated from my heavy railgun. And at the same time I'm trying to maneuver my railguns so they'll be able to hit the AV as it comes out of cover. Iain has taken out my scanner, so now I'm practically blind except for what I have in my base. The 2 heavy railguns almost kill the AV, but smoke saves it. Iain is quite good, as always, with his smoke placements. He is building a support cruiser, so he'll be able to mine more efficiently. He is grabbing another artifact, so he'll be ahead 2-0, and his carrier will of course be powered up. Coalition carriers are quite nasty if they get a lot of power, and that could be problematic for me. Let's see what's going on here. Support cruiser is moving to the middle of the map. I guess that was a bit unintentional. While my assault railgun and heavy railguns are trying to take out the base runner. Managed to grab that artifact, and I was very hopeful that I could get it to the extraction zone safely. And now as soon as Iain sees my railguns exposed, he launches his strike fighters. Strike fighters are quite good against railguns and should be able to take them out without much trouble, since the only anti-air that I had was a production cruiser, but the missile ship pops out just in time. Now I don't know if Iain saw that. I'm thinking he did, and backed off with the strike fighters so he didn't lose them. Base runner is barely crawling to the extraction zone, but the AV and the final salvo from the strike fighters takes it out, and I lose my hope at least getting that one artifact to boost my carrier. At this point I felt that I had stabilized. All I needed to do was take out the remaining AV that was still hanging out on second bulkhead. Assault railguns make short work of it. Now I'm trying to build up my forces, get my economy back, and try to survive as long as I can. Iain is happily just hanging out, taking out my scanners with his LAVs to keep me in the dark. He is taking another artifact, and he's being very active with his base runner, moving it around the map, picking up artifacts as soon as they're available, just to make sure that I don't grab any of them and get at least some additional power in my carrier. I scout a bit with the skimmer to see what is going on, how far Iain had expanded in the meantime. Now he just opened his second bulkhead, and I'm just being a bit passive, just trying to assess the situation now without any good scouting options, and that lone skimmer just moving around a bit, trying to disrupt some of the mining. BBI Iain. Now of course he is going to take out the sand skimmer with his LEVs. Looking at this situation from this point of view, I feel kinda disappointed in myself that I didn't try and move in at least towards his first expansion with my forces. Now 3 assault railguns and 1 heavy railgun could cause quite some trouble, even with those 3 LAVs up. I'm pretty sure the assault railguns should be able to take it out.
Assault cruisers now available for production.
Both players being a bit passive at the moment. Support cruisers having a bit of a tussle, and Iain will soon be mining quite efficiently from both of his bulkheads, which will boost his economy quite considerably. I am still long hauling from the second bulkhead. Iain is now trying to get some intel on what I'm doing. He has a probe in the mountains scouting out this part of the map. I managed to get another base runner out, grab artifact, and now I'm trying to escort it with my carrier. And I'm trying to distract Iain by sending out 2 assault ships to his expansion. Assault ships usually win against AAVs, especially if the assault ships have a armor upgrade. Iain is now also moving out his carrier, pretty sure it's in response to my carrier being in the middle of the map. His strike fighters are helping the AAVs take out my assault ships, and 1 assault ship goes down, and the second one is now heavily damaged. Strike fighter takes out the second assault ship, and my plan to distract Iain is suddenly and abruptly halted. Iain moves out with his powered up carrier, even though he at the moment did not put any power into his weapon systems, and 3 railguns and a support cruiser. Sensing that I might have a chance at least causing some trouble for him back in his home, and since Iain is blocking the extraction zone with his carrier, I decide to move my base runners back and attack his main resource point with a group of skimmers supported by assault railguns and a heavy railgun. Now he immediately pulls back his salvagers, and I didn't notice for quite a while that Iain immediately plops down 2 turrets to help defend against this attack. The strike fighters focus on the assault railguns, and the turrets then immediately destroy my assault railgun force. Meanwhile, in the middle of the map, Iain has encountered my carrier, supported with assault railguns, and an assault ship, and he's taking quite a bit of damage. Feeling a bit confident in this moment. My carrier is in the range and can take out at least some of these supporting railguns. I've dealt quite some damage to his carrier. I was just trying to push in as hard as I can. Now Iain is, in the meantime, using his LAVs to destroy some of my units in the back of the map. And as soon as his railguns are safe behind his carrier and have good sight lines on my units, he quickly takes out my force, and now I am on the run. I dump all of my power into speed and try to get away from his carrier and from those railguns. Down to 6. My carrier is down to 3,500 health, and I'm pretty sure, at this point I'm sure that I've lost this game. Iain is moving in with his carrier, trying to secure his kill. AVs are supporting from the side, but my carrier manages to get away thanks to the 2 heavy railguns providing some fire cover. And I finally captured 1 artifact despite all of these units in the way. Iain's carrier is now down to 5,700 health, and we are both backing off from this engagement, even though Iain has the superior force at the moment, 6 railguns and a carrier against 2 heavy railguns and just a carrier and a couple of skimmers. Well, it's always hard to make a good decision in the heat of the game. You don't really have this kind of information while you're playing the game, obviously. But if Iain would have just kept chasing my carrier, I'm pretty sure he could have just taken me out earlier. In the meantime, I've constructed more heavy railguns to make sure his carrier doesn't stay up front for very long. I've pumped power into the carrier regeneration, and as soon as his carrier comes into sight range, all of those heavy railguns and the assault railguns start wounding down his carrier. Now he has fully powered his armor, and all of that damage basically does nothing to his carrier. He exposes his railguns a bit too far, trying to take them out with my heavy railguns and my carrier. I've managed to construct some interceptors, trying to focus down as many railguns as I can, since those seem to be the main defense for his carrier and his main offensive tool. In the meantime, I'm trying to come around and attack his main base, but Iain has placed down protective turrets, and then I sort of just, as soon as I see that, I just give up on trying to harass his resourcing operation, which is a big mistake on my part. I should have just tried to break this with a bunch of skimmers and maybe a couple of assault ships. Iain now again moving in against my carrier. We're both just trying to dance around this high ground point. Iain launches a cruise missile, and I move right into the path of it. He takes out a huge chunk of my health, but my carrier is providing vision for all of my heavy railguns in the back. Iain's still powering up his armor system, and not only does he get 100 armor for his triple, he also gets self-repair, so that is quite nasty. I tried to pick off as many railguns as I can with my skimmer force. The missile batteries land a good mortar shot on my skimmers, and they get decimated by the combined forces of the carrier and of course the railguns getting in a few shots. I'm now trying to see if I can deal some damage with my interceptors. I decide to try and take out the support cruiser to at least make his mining operation a bit less efficient. The support cruiser goes down, and I try to take out as many salvagers as I can. In the meantime, both carriers are hanging out in the middle of the map, both of them regenerating their health slowly. and waiting for the next engagement.
Keep eyes out for hostiles.
Excuse me.
Hostile interceptor down.
Be advised. Team en route to recover the artifact.
I'm being a bit optimistic and hope that I can sneak in a base runner in the back while I'm trying to distract
Proceed to rally point. Secure
Iain with
location marked.
my skimmer groups. As soon as I see a ping here, I just back off with my base runner, knowing that it would probably instantly die to whatever is there.
Railgun online.
Iain tries to grab another artifact, but my carrier
Armored assault
kills it
online.
before it can move off. Skimmers come in,
Operational.
take out a railgun,
Alert. Railgun down. We got a railgun
but they
under
get
fire.
gunned down by the coalition carrier and the AAVs in the field.
Green line confirmed.
Armored assault operational.
At this point,
Strike craft.
I
Destroyed.
feel,
Construction resources
or I
stopped.
felt like
Be advised on an
I pretty
artifact.
much lost the
Stand by.
game, but I was still hopeful that if maybe Iain makes another mistake, or if he drives up his carrier straight
Keep eyes out for hostiles.
into my face, basically, I could maybe take it out with my heavy railguns.
Railgun operational.
Armor vehicle taking effective fire.
So I'm trying to bait him out,
Be advised.
moving in
Hostile
my carrier, so he starts
Carrier is taking fire. Engage hostiles at
to
will.
advance on my position.
Attention.
Now, of course, his 100 armor provides excellent protection. He has also, in the meantime, powered up
Firing on friendly.
most of his systems, and the coalition carrier is, of course,
Tracking armored craft on a
quite a tough nut to crack.
carrier out. Monitor
Moving in
front.
with as many forces as I can to distract his railguns, his
Target
AAVs,
locked. Fire. Hostile designated.
just to see if I can
Push her through.
maybe pummel down his carrier. But Iain launches another cruise missile and takes out my heavy railguns, and that basically seals my fate. Now my carrier is completely exposed.
Enemy light attack vehicle
All of
marked on the
Ian's railguns focus on my carrier. I try to get away. I launch another vein of interceptors to try and take out his units, but the missile ships make short work. The interceptors, my carrier is just getting pummeled by Ian's carrier. He has now switched all of his power to weapons, and he's just melting my carrier
Be
without
advised.
much trouble.
Hostile forces have dropped an artifact. Artifact position authenticated.
Considering this was Kalash teeth, I didn't really expect this game to last as long as it did. I thought either I would defend the AV rush and manage to make a good counter push, a good counter attack into Ian's territory, or that Ian's AV rush would just crush me and end the game there. But it was quite an interesting game, lots of back and forth, the two carriers standing off in the middle of the map, and as soon as one carrier got too far, it just got focused by railguns and the enemy carrier. So quite an interesting game, and those cruise missiles definitely hurt. Alright, let's move on to game number 2.